that was fine, but, you know, it's asking a lot of people. Now we have a set time and advertise it, so groups should come out. I've had groups ask to use this facility, we had to say no, because we had no one covered.
So this will be paid as needed.
Yeah, it's needed, yeah.
Is there further discussion?
I had one question. I noticed on the budget, we are saving approximately $7,000 a year in interest costs and debt reduction. And it seems to me that you're using an accounting method that is taking these interest savings and folding them into the operating budget. And once the loan is paid off, all of the savings, instead of being returned to the taxpayer, are going to be included in the operating budget of the school, so that we're looking really at an increase of $7,000 a year being taken from debt reduction and put into the operating cost.
I think I know your point. When this debt is paid off, and of course, through the efforts of Mr. O'Neill, the business office, we were able to restructure it at $300,000 savings. But yet, when that debt's paid off, you also look at, you know, your contract with Milford may be over at a 4% increase. Usually, when you set a contract, you would cost of living increases. It's 1.3, 1.5. We pay 4% for the next 10 years, no matter what happens. That will disappear probably. It might get high. I don't know. I can't predict that far in the future. If you look at this chart, we had a session. I would say 85 to 90% of our budget is dealing with tuition and debt service. You can see it right there in the chart. It's huge. We spend, just to give you a rough figure, $24,000 on books and supplies. $24,000. That's not even 1%. So you're saying it's correct, but you know, you got buses going up 3%, you got that going up, tuition going up 4%. Through Brenda Wiley here, we have saved 7 to 8% in electricity by going with consortium. We think of other ways to offset it, but debt service has to be included in your budget proposal. That's state law. But we kind of separate it out where people know, but as long as I've been here, we don't do that. I know what you're saying. Well, you get this high point. Once you lose the debt service, you're going to still stay at the high point. I think the last 3 years we've gone down the budget here because it was at a high point. Because you had a new building, new budget, you really didn't know where you stood. Now I can whittle away and go down, get to a fine line, and offer a quality education. But I think you're going to see it because we only really control salaries. You got one teacher per grade, so you don't control a lot of that, and budget and supplies. Everything else is kind of fixed. So there's not a lot of wiggle room. So usually in a budget, 13% administrative can control. I would say here I can control maybe 4 or 5%. But if you look at this chart, I'll be happy to share it with you. When we did have it on PowerPoint, this is your chart, and your bond service is separate. Once that goes away, you don't have that bond. I don't believe, because the operating is so separate from it, you can see all of it. That's why this budget's set up the way I did. Previous year's expenditures, what was spent, what was going on, what we recommend. You see the previous year. So if you were working 10 years down the line, you said, well, we don't have debt service. Why is this line item here? You can see what we spent. You can see some of the items I dropped that we never used. So I kicked them out of the budget. We didn't need them. It's like a security blanket. If you don't need it, get rid of it. And that's my philosophy. So I understand what you're saying, but I can't predict who's going to be here, what's going to happen. That's what you have to watch.
I had one other remark, and perhaps I can find this online, but it would be helpful. I downloaded the budget, but it would be helpful if we had some facts on the school, that we could get how many students we have, how many teachers we have, what kind of programs are mandated by the state that we can't change, we have no choice of doing. what kind of programs are perhaps voluntary, where we could seek savings,